how do you manage the pressure of high budgets and high expectations with the customers or with clients? I think it's about being realistic and showing the down and the upside. I think a lot of people just focus on showing the upside of things, and what you're doing is you're inadvertently putting yourself at a bad position. So what I mean by that is if someone comes in and they're like, hey, I'm gonna spend $3K a month on ads for 6 months, which is $18,000, and I'm gonna pay a service fee, so maybe it's an accumulative $40,000, and I'm expecting to, be able to turn 40K into 120K. Well, I would show them, this is what I do instead. I say, hey, listen, so look, we've already discussed all the upside, but can I be frank with you? Okay, great. Some of these are outliers. This one's an outlier, this one's an outlier, this one's an outlier. This one's pretty common. This cost per lead of about $30 is actually pretty common in your industry. So this one where it's $5 is not the reality. This one that's 60, that's on the lower end. But we want to aim for the middle. But what I need you to understand is that for the first 60 days, you're gonna get a bunch of leads. You're gonna be happy, you're gonna be like, damn, these guys are getting leads. But can I be real with you? A lot of the leads are gonna be not that very qualified. Because what we need to do is we need to let the AI get stronger when running our meta ads, so you can have the AI and the ads manager compound data. So we can turn just leads into quality leads that we can qualify, right? So when we kind of address frames like that, guys, it allows the client to be like, okay, I'm mentally prepared to lose X amount of money. I'm mentally aware that there's gonna be an upside and a downside, and it makes them wanting to aim for the middle. When you make them aim for the middle, two things happen. If they are just below the middle, they're like, at least it's what I expected, and they're most likely not gonna leave. But if they're above the middle or they're an outlier, they think you are a king. They think you're a wizard, and that's a much, much safer way to manage expectations, pressure, and budgets.
What's your attitude towards risk? Do you play like the safe, or do you go all in?
What's my attitude towards risk? Do I play it safe or do I go all in? My behavior, and I'll answer that question with this context. What many people do is they verbalize behaviors that they want, not necessarily things that their past behavior suggests that they have. So my past behavior would suggest that I go all in on many occasions. I remember when I was 21 years old, I quit. I was 22, I think, actually. I was 22. I quit my job as a SDR at a tech sales company. And what I did was I went all in on an event/nightclub that I was owning, and another business. I had a cleaning company at the time as well. I had multiple businesses. And I went all in. I quit cold turkey. I had probably less than 8K in savings, maybe less than 10 grand. And I went all in. In fact, I was trying to run multiple clubs at once. And what happened was after 90 days of going cold turkey, so I quit the job, I also did a detox. So I said, no sex, no women, no going out. I didn't listen to music. I said no, I just wanted to test my mental strength. So I did not listen to music for nearly 3 months. Now, obviously, if I was walking on a street and there was some music in the background, am I gonna be like covering my ears? No, that's not what I was doing. But I would, instead of listening to music while at the gym or in the car or while playing basketball, I would either listen to silence, not listen to anything, or just listen to audiobooks. Why do I mention that? At the end of that 90-day period, I ended up getting extremely sick because I was low on sleep. I was low on a bunch of other chemicals in my body because I ended up nearly getting hospitalized, and my body reached a temperature of 39 degrees, right? Which, and just so you guys know, without being too dark, 41 to 42 degrees is where some people actually die from overheating. Now, I wasn't at that level of discomfort, but I was at a point where physically I was going through a lot of changes just because I was overworking with little sleep. So my past behavior, as I said, would suggest that I go all in. However, as I get a bit older, as a 26-year-old that has 40 staff and has a lot more people to think about, not just myself, I am better at still taking risk, but at least managing the risk at least doing risk-adjusted attempts at things. But definitely my propensity and my default is still to risk it all, risk the farm. What is the biggest misconception about entrepreneurship and the lifestyle of an entrepreneur? Or this is such, I'm going to be on a tangent. So many things. A lot of people think entrepreneurship is you being liquid. Let's just say you do 100K a month. They think it's you being liquid, 50K a month, and it comes into your pocket and you now spend that money on traveling because you're not rich, but let's just say you're making money and whatever, $500,000 a year in your pocket, or that's 600K a year, whatever. What they don't understand is tax. What they don't understand is employees. What they don't understand is overhead. What they don't understand is, especially if you're in a service business, there are clients And the more your company grows, generally speaking, the more amount of clients you will have. Okay? So the more amount of clients you have, essentially, is the more amount of bosses you have. But let's again take it away from services. Let's just say you have product business or you have SaaS. Let's use products. With products, you have to sell even more customers. So then there's refunds, there's chargebacks, there's PayPal, there's money holds, there's maybe loans if you're on products. Now let's take it to brick and mortar. I'm showing you guys the whole spectrum of different business models. Now you have a brick and mortar store, you have a restaurant, you have a retail outlet. People don't think about the junkies. They don't think about the glasses that can be broken. They don't think about people stealing money from the till, right? So entrepreneurship is actually constant stress. It's constant personal development. All it is, it's constant personal development on your own terms. That's the only difference. I'm not gonna lie. Again, I wouldn't do this, but I definitely still have moments, maybe not as frequently, but maybe once every couple of weeks, I'm like, I could literally make $500,000 a year just working corporate for even one of my clients that is already a big client. And that's a stable check after tax of 25 grand in my own bank account, instead of, all right, this week I'm not paying myself because I'm gonna hire 3 more people. This week, okay, I'm gonna pay myself a bare minimum amount so I can be able to now reinvest into more ads so we can help this client. Okay, this week I'm gonna take a cut because I've also been able to, I will take a commission on top of what I've done because I've been able to close a certain amount of deals. But I'm always thinking, I've gotta pay my 40 staff first. One of them just got pregnant, right? They got a baby on the way. Another one, I'm their visa sponsor. So I've got to help them tick off certain things. Another one, I'm their yada, yada, yada. So they're my priority. And because they're my priority, being in entrepreneurship literally is constant pain. But it's a pain that's beautiful. It's personal development.
What's the misconception that people have about like paid ads and that you wish you could like erase forever?
Misconception people have about paid ads that I could erase forever. Honestly, it's just that they think, I wouldn't say erase forever, but something that I think is important is them understanding that everything takes time. And paid ads is essentially what we call programmatic gambling. And what I mean by programmatic is you're using data to make decisions. But gambling is because the first, 1 to 3 months of any ads campaign or even longer is going to be about you testing different creatives like this, testing different angles, testing different topics, testing different images, testing different copy. So if you're not going into it thinking, I'm going to test a certain amount of money before I hit it big, then you're probably going to lose.